Today's Tech Tuesday presentation is on Zotero. We won't be doing a deep dive. Instead, we'll be focusing on some tips and tricks. We'll provide information for learning more about Zotero at the end of the presentation. If you're not familiar with Zotero, it's essentially a digital bookshelf. It's a great place to store documents, images, videos, and even web pages. There are two ways to access Zotero: through the web at zotero.org or through an application downloaded to your device. Most of the items in this presentation refer to the application on your device. You can create collections of items. For example, if you're writing a paper, you may create a collection for the Lit Review. You can also collaborate with others on collections. You can create citations and bibliographies directly from Zotero and then paste them into your paper. This works in both Word and Chrome. And my favorite tip, using the Zotero Chrome extension, you can add items directly from the web. The next slide is going to show you how to do that. In this GIF, I first show you where the extension lives in the Chrome browser. Then I start a Google Scholar search. I click on my Zotero extension again, which is changed from a Z to a folder. A pop-up appears for me to select the items I want to save. When I click OK, a new drop-down menu appears below the extension. From here, I can select the folder where I want to place all of the items I've selected. I click Enter or Done, and it is now in my Zotero collection. With just a few clicks, I've added a number of articles that I can then review. You can use this on any web page. If going through, say, ProQuest, Zotero Connector can connect through the UNCG proxy, so you have access to everything that you have when going through the UNCG library system. There are two ways to keep those articles. The first is to store the articles in Zotero. They're actually stored within the Zotero server, which you can see by accessing Zotero on the web. You can adjust your settings to have items only download to your desktop Zotero application every time you sync, or only when needed. The advantage is that you can access them from any device as long as you have an internet connection. The disadvantage is that it uses Zotero storage space. You get 300 megabytes for free, but you can upgrade relatively inexpensively. Linked items, on the other hand, do not use storage space, but they do take up space on your device. You also may lose access to documents if you're using it on different devices. It's likely that you will have an item in multiple collections. You can see all collections that have an item by clicking Option on a Mac, Control in Windows, or Alt on Linux. Adding items to a collection does not create a duplicate. It merely provides multiple access points. To remove an item from a collection, right-click on the item and select Remove Item from Collection. Tags in Zotero are the same thing as keywords. If the keywords are included in the metadata of the item, they will appear automatically, but you may have to add them manually. One cool feature of tags is the ability to assign a color to a tag. Simply right-click on the tag and select Assign Color. You can only have 9 colored tags, so be strategic. You can also add emojis to tags, which is another way to differentiate them. You simply add an emoji while renaming the tag. To open the emoji menu, select Control, Command, and Space on a Mac, or Windows Plus on Windows. You can merge tags by simply renaming one tag to the same as another. This is a great way to streamline when different authors use different terms. The search function in the Zotero application is very helpful when you have a lot of items. The quick search uses that search bar. The options for how to search are pretty limited. Clicking the magnifying glass outside of the search bar provides you with more options for searching. Another important piece of this advanced search is the ability to save your search, creating a new collection. The Zotero connector allows you to easily add citations and references in your paper. This GIF shows you how easy it is to add an in-text citation to your Google document. Simply place your cursor where you want the citation, click the Zotero connector in the toolbar, and search bar pops up. Search for the items you are citing and hit enter. The first time you use it, it will ask you what style of citation you use. To add a bibliography in the Zotero application, select all of the items you wish to include, right-click, and select Create Bibliography from Items. You can then paste it into your document. Always be sure to check your citations for accuracy. If you've used Zotero before, these may be some tricks you didn't know you could do. When clicking on any item, select the Notes tab in the Information panel. You can add any notes you want. Notes do not count towards storage. You can also create standalone notes not connected to an item. You can connect two or more related items by selecting the Related tab in the Information panel and clicking Add. Select the related items and click OK. The relationship will appear in the Related tab for each item. A really cool feature that I recently found is the ability to create a timeline of items in your library. This can be your entire library or a collection. This is an easy way to create a simple visualization of your literature. At the bottom of each collection is a section called Duplicate Items. Click on any item in that section and all duplicates will be highlighted. Select Merge in the right panel to combine them. You should always merge duplicates rather than delete one. Sometimes you have items that manage to not be in a collection. You can see these items in Unfiled Items. To add an item to a collection, just click and hold while moving it to a folder. If you want to keep a record of your own publications, Zotero provides you with a file just for your stuff. When using Zotero, there are some best practices. Always check the metadata that is imported with the document. You can manually add or change any metadata in the Information tab. One of the biggest issues is always sentence and title case in article titles. Likewise, you should always check citations and references that you generate. Zotero generally does a good job, but again, the metadata is vital in this role. For the best experience, download the Zotero connector and add items directly from the web. It truly is a game changer. Take a look at your preferences for sync settings, search settings, citation styles, and more. And I said this before, but it's important enough to repeat, merge, don't delete duplicate items. This will make sure that the item has all of the relevant information. If you've never used Zotero or just want to learn more about the basics, check out the UNCG Research Guide on Zotero. The Zotero support documentation is also very thorough and helpful. And don't forget that every department has a dedicated librarian. Research is their jam, and they would love to help you get started with Zotero. You can find your department librarian at library.uncg.edu/research/guides. And lastly, we are always here for you. You can contact both Mika and Tina at hhsitc@uncg.edu.